you. Welcome fans to Wangai Junior channel, your favorite YouTube channel. Subscribe, comment, like and share. We are coming live on YouTube from National Theatre. With me is Mwalimu Geoffrey, Mukoto, Maestro mwenyewe, mwalimu wa wengi, a mentor, a composer and arranger. Welcome mwalimu on board.
Asante.
Say hi to fans.
Habari zenu. Good to be here.
Yes, we now go straight to our interview. Mukoto is a teacher at Kenya Conservatory School of Music, located at the Kenya National Theatre, opposite Norfolk Hotel. Mwalimu,
Yes, sir.
we are walking straight. Tell us who you are.
Uh,
Many people don't know you, so tell them who you are.
okay. Kwa majina naitwa Geoffrey Mukoto. I'm a music instructor, a composer, a voice clinician. I play the piano and I teach theory of music. I teach critiquing of music. I also teach composition and harmony. All those in one. Maybe that's who I am.
Thank you, Mwalimu Mukoto.
Yeah.
And now, Mwalimu, can you tell us about your journey from where you started to where you are right now? Talk to the fans.
I really do not know exactly when I started,
Yes.
but I can recall when I started my first music lesson. And I can vividly recall even the date when I started being a music student. This was in February 4th, 1986.
1986.
86.
Hey.
That is when I started learning music under the late Henry Maganga Sengati, who was then the choir master at St. Peter Clavers here in Nairobi. Then I was in the youth group that
Yes.
was animating the 9 a.m. mass. And that mass ilikuwa inaitwa misa ya watoto. That is where I started.
Watoto. Sababu kwa nini? Sababu?
I think the young ones who are learning catechism at that period were the ones who are charged with the responsibility of singing in the mass.
Oh, wow.
After that, when they graduate from the first Holy Communion and the confirmation,
yes,
they go, the next lot comes, and again that forms the next choir. Interestingly, 3/4 of them were under 15 years.
Under 15
years. So that is when they got this name, Misa ya Watoto.
Yeah. Right.
But some of us, for the love of music,
yes,
after being baptized and confirmed, we decided to stay on just for the love of music.
yes.
So we were the so-called the teachers for these Watotos.
The teachers for Watotos.
Yes.
Right.
And this is how we were teaching them. I remember I could go listen to a tape. That time the tapes ndio zilikuwa, CDs were very expensive affair to have one. So unaenda unachukua mziki unasikiza, you are armed by rote, you come and teach them. Ole wako kama utafika katikati ya barabara usahau. So that's how I started being a music teacher. Wow. Naenda kusikiza tape, from the tape I come and teach.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I must say I had a very good ear and a very good memory, because even sitting in a choir that was established and was being taught the 4 voices at St. Peter's, I was one of the dependables to all the voices, because they knew Mukoto akishika ameshika. So I would remind people their lines And
Wakati
yet
mwalimu
Ayoko, yet I did not know any note. And I think my my resolve to want to know more came as a result when I used to see my teacher reading from a paper and teaching the choir. So when I take that paper, the only thing I could get out of that paper were the words.
the
And
lyrics there.
what peke yake, those other things, and I got so interested to learn. And Sengati was my first music teacher.
Oh.
When he came from Tanzania,
Mhm,
and he said he wanted to teach us music. We started 15 of us.
mhm.
In 2 weeks, we had remained two.
15 of you.
Yes, in two after
So 13 were gone.
13 were gone.
Walikimbia.
Walikimbia.
Yo.
I would understand because this is a teacher who was from Tanzania. He was a military person.
Oh,
So I think his approach was still
it was
that
harsh, eh?
he was still military in approach.
Okay.
So people, and we liked soft life.
Oh.
We felt kwani huyu anakuja sisi ni wanajeshi kwani. That's how we remained two, and within a month I remained one. So I was under him for around, I would say 6 to 8 months.
Wow.
Uh, then later on, uh, it wasn't lessons structured after the 8 months. The lessons were not so structured.
Okay.
So it was as and when we have time is when we have the
The
lessons.
lessons.
Then in 1989,
Yes.
I moved to Isili.
Easily.
Yes, and I joined the St. Teresa's church choir.
The famous Saint Bakita.
No, by that time, it wasn't St.
Saint,
It was just
Saint,
St.
Saint
Teresa's
Teresa, yes.
because the names of the choirs
Do change, yeah.
just came the other day.
Yeah.
So there, with the knowledge I had come with from St.
Saint Peter's
Peter's,
Clavers.
now I was the guru there.
The guru.
Yeah. Then one time, the choir was asked to go and sing at Loreto Msongari
Mhm.
for one of the sisters who was uh, uh, having her vows.
Mhm.
And to me, then I was really training the choir very nice, and I thought I was on top of things.
Mhm.
So one of the nuns there, Sister
Sister Marion.
Marion Cox, asked me how much of music I had done. I told her very much. So she tested me, and then we both realized that I had learned so little. So she asked me if I was willing to take lessons.
Mhm.
So I started lessons with Sister Marion Cox, and this is the
Yes.
person I would say really built my music. I learned harmony through her,
Yes.
right from grade 1 to grade 8, and beyond grade 8 because I was a composer. And most of the compositions I had done, when I presented to her and the harmonies that I had done, she rubbished them. And one time I remember her saying, "This anybody can do, even your great grandmother can do this." I felt offended. Why? These are the music at St. Jesus. People feel we
Feel
have
a guru,
a guru
a
here.
maestro.
And
Yeah.
then someone is telling me, even my great grandmother
Can
can
do.
do it.
Hey.
That's how I started going slow in my compositions because I really wanted, um, just put it, I really wanted to have the best out of her. She took me through in piano, right from grade 1 to grade 8.
Yes.
She took me through theory right from grade 1 to grade 8,
Yes.
and harmony. That is where her forte was, and that is where she felt as a church musician, I really needed to know how to write music, how to harmonize the do's and don'ts. And I'm very grateful grateful to her that she made me who I am. Because after her lessons, there's so little I would say I
Yes.
have acquired. Although a year later, I met a professor from Italy, Professor Giolimo Tiziana, who
Yes.
taught me now two-part harmony. She had come to Kenya for holidays for 3 months.
3 months.
And as an organist, she tried to get where to play an organ. The only organ that she felt was a resemblance of a real organ was at All Saints Cathedral. But everything she said, going home back in Italy, none of them really suited the real requirements of a pipe church organ.
Well,
And she interacted with so many of us who were writing music and realized our two-part writing was so common that it either was going in thirds, like,
oh yeah.
or sixths. Uh, then she challenged me that if you listen to one piece
Mhm.
that is done in two voices and you go to the next piece, you actually realize you're doing the same thing differently. So where is the juicy part of writing two parts? Because in her thought, two part is harder to write than four part because you are representing four voices in two.
Into
So that is where now I started writing a lot of my music in two parts, just to get that out clearly. And I'm grateful. Uh, the way I write without saying so much, when people react to it, they say it's a bit unique.
this.
Yes, it can be unique in their thinking, but I'm thinking it is just different, not unique.
Uh,
Mm.
wow, wow. That's a very, 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 very nice journey. And Malim,
Yes.
can you remember some of the choirs you've taught in your career zenye zimekument tukianza na hiyo St. Peter's Clavers?
Okay, I've been, as I said, my music journey started at St. Peter's.
Peter's Clavers,
That is my mother church.
your
That's
mother
where I
church.
was
Wow.
baptized. That is where I was confirmed.
Yeah.
So
It's
I'm saying I started learning singing in that church maybe way back in 1973 when I think I was 1973
1973.
when I think I was
Uh,
12 years there. So when we started the choir ya watoto,
yeah.
it matured because now we started um, asking those who had finished their catechism who could stay back for us to build the choir. So that is how the youth choir started. And I was the founder member of the youth choir at St.
St. Peter's
Peter's,
Clavers.
St. Peter's Clavers.
Watu wenye mnaangalia hapa, fans wenye mna watch from St. Peter's Clavers, hiyo youth choir mwanzilishi yupo hapa.
Yeah.
Now, next
Then I was singing now because this was called a youth choir. There was the senior choir,
choir, yeah.
where now I was just
And
a singer,
a
a
normal
normal
chorister. Yeah.
singer. But with time, uh, there was a problem. Then the choir was dissolved, and I recall very well the duty was now given to the youth choir to run the youth choir and the
Senior
senior choir
mass. Yeah.
after the disbanding of that senior choir. And they said, anybody who wants to come back. But this person, and that was me and the one, Dan Odhiambo.
Dan Odhiambo.
Dan Odhiambo.
Wow.
So we were the ones who are literally in charge.
In charge, yeah.
Yeah. Dan Odhiambo by then was a better musician than me because he had already, I think he had learned music in his secondary school.
Oh.
Yeah, so we were there. And I would say because of being that young person training my very mature choir, because the choir was with very mature people. We learned a lot on in terms of, I mean, by default, you learn how to deal with the members who are senior, some the level of your father, the level of your mother.
True.
You learn how now administratively how to handle that kind of people.
Yeah.
Again, knowing again how to handle the youth. You know, you see, we are traversing from the youth,
Youth to the senior
senior,
choir.
senior. Yeah, okay. So from there, when I went to St. Teresa's, um, a lot was made. Or the making of me was done at St. Teresa's Catholic Church Choir. Number one, it was participating in the then called, now it's called CLIMAC. It was called Catholic Choirs Association, CCA.
CCA.
For the first time when the choir went to up to, there were three classes: B, A, and special. So once that time it went to special, we were number two nationally, uh,
Wow.
behind Holy Trinity Kariobangi, which was then being mastered by the late Sam
Wow.
Ochimma
Wow.
Kokeo.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can imagine being second
After
after Makokeo,
Makokeo.
how you
Hey,
would feel. I felt
that was great.
I had really
Special. And that was
special,
the topmost class.
topmost class.
Wow.
Uh, Besides that, I realized in the Catholic Church, in the Marian songs, we were almost totally dependable on the Tanzanian music. There was no one choir that had ever done uh,
Marian
an
song.
album on Marian songs alone. You'd find a choir that would go to studio, record like 10, 20 songs, but one Marian song here, one Marian song there. That was a challenge. I proudly stand to say that I was the first person to come with a Marian album full of Kenya music.
Wow.
To date, I stand proud about that.
Wow.
That
Wow.
there was
Wow.
that small contribution I made, and my music is being sung nationally and internationally. One of the music uh, during this Angelus yeah, at midday when the bell rings in the
Rings.
Catholic Church
Yeah, yeah.
in Rome, Italy,
Yes.
my music had was played for almost 3 years running.
Hey,
Yes,
Rome, Italy.
Italy. Mm. Now, at that moment, what do you think I'm feeling?
That feeling, eh? That, hey, hey,
Yeah,
it must be
yeah.
nice.
So, um, and that is being done from St. Teresa's, a
See,
platform I will never forget
yeah.
that gave me room to do all this. And giving back to the church, I have mentored so many people in that church
Uh-huh.
that right now stand to be very good musicians. I don't want to mention them because they have not given me permission to do so,
Yeah.
but they're coming up with very good uh, training, courtesy of me.
Yeah.
They are coming up with very good composition, courtesy of my teaching. Some of them are still my students that they still feel I can offer something. So I really, in terms of growth in music, I will. I really give a
Back to the society.
and I really
Being
give.
one of the students.
Now you've mentioned, I didn't want that to come
Let
out.
me mention myself. Being one of the students since 2021,
Mhm,
I am still here.
mhm,
Now, Mwalimu,
yes.
what kind of challenges have you encountered in this journey?
So many challenges. Let me start with the growth of individual musicians. Now, I want to talk from a Catholic point of view.
Yeah.
Individual musicians. Our liturgy dictates that the music that we do has to be easy and be able to be sung by the congregation and in a call response nature. Now, you get a musician who can do solo and can really grow in that area.
area.
Now, the
Nice.
church is not giving that uh, avenue. I'm not saying it has refused, but you see now, you'll not grow that kind of person.
True.
Another thing would be we would want to write so much that goes beyond call and response. You get that you are limited, and then you are just able to write for uh, the festival. After the festival, that song in the church at times becomes irrelevant because it's not conforming to the call and response.
Response. Yeah.
Yeah, so that challenge is there. I don't know how the church will grow some space where such a kind of talents can come out. Like, for example, we have a person, if you're playing trumpet, where is your space in the church? Maybe as musicians, it's us who have not ventured more, and we are trying to blame that
The church. Yeah.
we
Right.
have been cocooned.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but I find it as a challenge uh, to grow musically away from call and response music. I also find a challenge in in for example, we have festivals
Festivals. Yeah.
that come once in a year. Uh, you sing maybe two, three pieces. Uh, the challenge is in between what happens. Maybe if there was more space to have more festivals, not from a point of competition, but from a point of growing the music, maybe our singing would be more uh, vibrant because it is always vibrant around the festival
Or
time.
season. Yeah. True.
Understand?
True.
But after that, you go to the same church that was number one in a festival, and you like, is it really this choir? So for me, I would want space where maybe there is so much um, festive, choir festival, not encompassing so much music, but so little music, but done well. That is uh, a challenge. Challenge number two, the keyboards that we have. These keyboards are killing us because you just press some buttons and music starts before you touch any keys. Now, it is making the players reluctant to learn.
Lazy.
I'll not use the word lazy. I'll just say it is giving them a way out
Right.
to do things without learning. Now, it will reach a time, it will catch up with us because maybe we want a piece written and to be played as per the writing. You have that person you call keyboardist or organist, but you must hire someone to play for you during the festival or during any
That's
piece
true.
there. So that is a big challenge, and I'm challenging my fellow Catholic musicians to get out of that cocoon and seek knowledge out there so that they are able
And using transpose buttons.
and be able to learn how to play. There was a time a choir went somewhere and there was a real organ where there was no transpose
Button.
button. The choir could not sing because they, they are used to intros by the organ. Now, this player could not because there was no button, so he could not play in the comfort key
Key.
that he is used to. Now,
Wow.
that becomes an impediment to music growth. Maybe need to start looking outside that so that if you can play this piano and you still get a keyboard that has a transpose button, you are more. advantage than when you can only play something by uh, pressing a button. Interestingly, I don't know which school they have gone to because three-quarters of them play in F sharp.
And the G.
I've never known why. F sharp is a hard key to play from, but most of them are playing in that F sharp key. So it's my humble request
Yeah.
that they get to do some learning. Another challenge has always been that most of us in the not only in Catholic Church but in all the churches,
Yes.
there are many talented composers. Now, you compose a piece of music, and there are some rules that can go into a composition that can have a national and international appeal. Because when you're writing, you're not just writing to your village, you're not just writing for that choir. That music will traverse and go far. Now, if you do not know the rules of do's and don'ts, then you end up writing in a manner that can really meet a challenge where this music could have gone through to other levels. Now, again, just coming and learning the rules of music, I think it's important. But now, most of us, because we can write and it can be sung, exact position where I was until I was told this
This,
can be
even your
migrated.
grandmother can write this
Yeah, we need that uh, uh,
platform.
platform to have these people get to learn. So it's important. Yes, you have the talent, but also talent together with knowledge takes you a notch higher. And on that, I'm trying to woo people to starting this May that I want to take you through. If you've never done any graded music exam, I want to take people through from grade 1 to 5 within 3 to 6 months, so that
In a very short period of time.
time, because already you have knowledge,
Yeah.
some knowledge of music, so it will not be hard to be taught.
True.
And that program will be starting in May, and it will be at St. Peter's. They have given us a classroom just to make sure that people can move. And
True.
imagine it's just 500 for 2 hours.
500.
Yeah, you come to
A bit
conservatoire.
somehow cheap.
It's not somehow cheap. It's
It's very
very
cheap.
cheap because I teach at Konya Conservatoire of Music. 1 hour is 2,400. So you are talking of 2 hours. We are talking of 4,800. I
Right.
am asking for 500,
500 cheap.
just to make sure that you're not left out because of finances. Because at times people are willing and they're not in a position
Right.
to do it.
True.
Yeah. So those are some of the challenges I have. And then the last challenge I've always had, um, we when we sit down as musicians,
Yeah.
uh, there are those of us who would want to be up there and be seen we are up there, and there are those who are down there and they also want to be seen as we are up there. And then our festivals, uh, as you call me a guru, I have a choir. It becomes number 5, and you are a person who is looking up to me. Your choir becomes number 1. What happens next? I think this guy I was looking up to, I've beaten him. So what can he tell me?
What
So you find out that so many people would not want to go out to learn, which it's a bit sorry state that our
Sure.
level of development in music has stagnated. People have to start getting out of that stagnation and accept that this is how the much I know. Let me go to this person or these persons or this institution to learn more. Uh, it comes back to you actually,
True.
that it will enable you to write better, be a good critic in your own music and other people's music, and focus more from just that small area you have encircled yourself.
True.
Yes.
Thank you, Mwalimu Mukoto. And now I go aside kidogo. I want to touch on one, Pambo Africa.
Yes.
Mwalimu, Pambo Africa has traded more in our social media platforms, more so in our YouTubes. It's a very big team which we like to know the history of Pambo Africa.
Okay. Actually, Pambo Africa was formed, or I formed it on the 1st May, the year 2002.
1st May.
May 2002.
Hey.
I'm not going to ask if you were born by then.
Maybe I wasn't born, but
No,
I
no,
was
no, no.
born.
Okay. What was the aim of
Forming Pambo
Pambo
Africa.
Africa? Number one, I, as a church musician,
Yes,
you are limited to the kind of music you do
you do.
and how you do it. And I felt I had a wide spectrum of doing my music.
Music. Yeah.
So I was forming Pambo with an aim of popularizing our own music, Kenyan music and African music, because it's only, I'd say, 10, 15 years down the line that our church has been bombarded in with our own music. But before then, it was hymns, which is not a bad thing, but and foreign music.
Foreign music.
So you singing a Kikuyu song in church, you would be labeled a tribalist because you have targeted the Kikuyu, certain tribe, or Luya, or Kamba, or Taita, and all that. So you find that so much of our music took a back seat. So I felt with the Pambo and having the people from different communities, we would do that and appeal more to the people who at times shy away from their own music because this is a common thing in Kenya. Just ask someone on the streets, kabila lako ni gani? He'll definitely go, he's likely to go defensive. Kwa nini unaniuliza? You know,
Yeah.
we are not so, what could I say, proud of our tribes unless we are at a certain pedestal point that people
You
are
are being
looking
attached with the
goodies.
goodies.
So I felt music brings people together. That it was one. Number two, I wanted to start a group that I would mentor the singers. So I started by recruiting not so not so good singers that I wanted to see how they grow. So that if I say I am a polished trainer, I can attest to what I have.
Yeah.
That didn't work well for me because I did train, and it is from that training that other groups were fishing my members from because they knew if you go to Pambo Africa and you've trained there, you are a good singer. So that's
Sure.
how. So uh, those are the positives and negatives. But besides that, I wanted a situation where artistic writing would have a place in our music scene in
Yeah.
Kenya, so that you're not just curtailed on fast chorus, fast chorus. Artistic writing where a musician can enjoy the music and can tell the journey within that piece what is happening, and a common person can still enjoy that music without realizing there's so much art that was put in. So we are on journey and we're still soldiering on.
Mwalimu, what advice can you give to our young upcoming musicians so that they can be successful in this journey?
Okay, I'm not yet successful. So I
Yeah,
may
not
have,
yet,
I,
but you are somewhere.
I may have so little to tell you about success, but what I can say, number one, most of our young musicians who are very talented and very ambitious, do not have the knowledge. That knowledge is important at a later date, if not now, because they are trying things. And at times when you're trying things, don't do not think of your space alone. It has to go out. Now, how would your piece get an international acclaim if it is missing some of the things? That is where the catch is, that try to have more knowledge combined with your art and talent. uh, you will really move um, from where you are, because your space is large and wide and borderless. So um, take advantage of that. For us who are older, uh, we are now thinking of retiring. Now, where are we retiring to with all this knowledge when you people, younger
With
people, can harvest from it? So I'm telling my fellow young musicians, go out there and seek knowledge. Right now, it might be expensive in your thinking, but 5 years later, you will literally need it. At that point, it will be so expensive, and you'll start saying, I wish
I knew.
I knew. So take advantage of the. So there are so many musicians who are really willing to help right now,
Yeah.
the young musicians. But the young musicians need also to be ready to learn and to invest a lot of time in learning music, so that they can make good music.
So, my fellow upcoming musicians, avoid the word I wish I knew.
Mm.
Mwalimu,
Yeah.
tukimalizia show, say one, two greetings to your friends
Uh,
and to your fellow
mm.
maestros.
Okay, I'm happy to have been interviewed by this young man. It's a good thing he started. Although some of us are still thinking about doing it, he has already started. That is the ambition we are saying should be tapped into. And I'm happy also that we are trying to reach many musicians and exchanging experiences here and there, or our journeys. So as we continue living, let us also enjoy people's music. And lastly, is about being together as musicians. At times we fight a lot of reasons best known to us, that if one of my colleague is having a concert, it is only a handful of us who will attend, but will be so much on the social media discussing how that music was not that show was not well attended. We need now to support each other. Take an example of the politicians. They are always fighting on the streets. But the moment they have something that is common to them, like increasing their salaries, they will go to the bunge, and in a record of 30 minutes, it shall be passed.
They team up together.
They team. Where are we? We have to start. We should know where the rain started beating us and come together. And it is only us who can uplift each other. Forget about tunaomba serikali. Serikali comes where things are nice, not where things are not nice.
True.
Thank you so much, and I'm happy that I've been able to share the little experience I have with you.
So, Mwalimu,
Asanteni
you are
sana.
a composer, you are an arranger. Uh, how could one reach you through your mobile telephone number, maybe?
You have it. You have them.
Talk
Give
to
them.
the fans.
Okay. Reach me if it is email. It's Geoffrey Mukoto at gmail.com. Geoffrey Mukoto, everything small. Uh-huh. And the Geoffrey is double F REY. Uh, telephone numbers ya M-Pesa ni 0722 473403.
Ya M-Pesa 0722
473403, na ile ya data ile haikuli sana ni 0733 287835.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you very much, fans.
And if
Continue.
you want to meet me physically, I am at the Kenya Conservatory of Music. That is where I do my trade. Anytime, give me a call, or even just
Pay a visit.
pay a visit without really having to book an appointment.
Thank you very much, Mwalimu Geoffrey Mukoto.
Yeah.
It was nice having you. We've enjoyed, we have learned. And now, Mwalimu, as we close this interview, can you play us a little harmonious melody? Kidogo.
Now, I'm just a piano teacher, but I don't play. But Malaika.
Malaika, malaika, nakupenda malaika,